Welcome to another exciting edition of Mental Health Moments. We'll share mental health news and information we hope will empower you and your family to get on or stay on a journey towards wellness, mind, body, spirit, and soul. In coordination with the Centers for Disease Control, the CDC, the City of District Heights, the Maryland Center at Bowie State University, and the Youth Services Bureau will be running public services announcements to help reduce or eliminate smoking in our communities. Here's a sample PSA bringing awareness to secondhand smoke.
My son Aiden has asthma. Secondhand smoke has triggered his asthma so bad to the point where he had to end up in the emergency room. And he has spent multiple nights in intensive care. Now he's on a whole bunch of medications. My tip to you is, don't be shy to tell people not to smoke around your kids.
For free help, visit cdc.gov/tips.
I am sure no one wants this for their child. Many of our partners, including the Prince George's County Health Department, will be on site here in the city on June 30th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. to help all of us get on or stay on a journey of health and wellness. Come out to the health fair to find out the free smoking cessation products the health department offers. The health fair will also have doctors on hand to speak with you privately. Would you like to enroll in an insurance plan, get a medical massage, taste and learn more about healthy cooking? What about job or career wellness? The Family Health Fair with Men in Mind has something for all ages, even yoga classes, line dancing, and fun-filled activities for children and teens. Let's take a moment to hear a few words from our mayor as he shares his passion about the community's health and wellness.
I've been monitoring our senior citizens for the last 3 or 4 years because, as you know, I usually have midday parties for my senior citizens that starts from noon to until 4. And I've been having an average of 350 to 400 people from when the senior citizens come each time. And then I noticed the alarming amount of senior citizens dying. Every time one dies, I talk to the chief and find out what was the cause. A lot of them are dying of natural causes. Diabetes, heart problems, just a conglomerate of medical issues. And my thing was that we are largely a retirement community simply because we have a lot of baby boomers. We have half the people in this town are retiring around the same time. So, or was born after 1945. So the deal is that it was a little alarming and concerning to me that some of the things was happening. Then when I talked to some of their family members, they would say, well, you know, he was suffering for a long time. He didn't know he had this. He didn't know he had that. He was misdiagnosed. I'm getting all kinds of stuff. So I'm saying, why not every year we have a health fair with the idea of focusing on men's health, but overall the family health. So we can get more people in here, possibly diagnose some people, save some lives, show them a better way of eating with nutritionists, psychological stuff. As you know, the YSB program, the Youth Service Bureau, does a lot of assisting families in terms of mental health. And so we have a good system in place to deal with a lot of things. It's just that we had no way of targeting the people or finding people that had these issues that they can come in. So give a health fair and invite the entire city and people outside of the city and in the region all together, that they can come and they can get the services, and all the services are free. And I just can't thank the Youth Service Bureau enough for grabbing it by the tail and taking hold and running with it. Because, you know, I'm tied up with a lot of crazy stuff, a lot of good stuff, bad stuff, upside down stuff. And sometimes, you know, I just don't have the time. But the Youth Service Bureau is actually the front runner on this. I would like to have a health fair here every year. Because it's needed. A lot of people, I don't know about the insurance situations, but some people hate to go to the doctor because they don't have insurance or they can't afford certain things. So if we can get them treated here and diagnosed by professionals, then possibly they can go on. I know one year, not here, but I was at NBC4 Health Fair, and a couple of guys was diagnosed with prostate cancer that they thought they were healthy and they didn't know. So that would possibly save their lives. So I'm looking for possibly the same results from us. Over the police department, every time someone dies in the city, it comes through the police department. So as a police commissioner, I was monitoring that, and over the last year and a half, 29 people have died in the city of nonviolent things, just natural death from one ailment to another. So my thing was, since I'm monitoring this and I'm looking at this and I have statistics that show that these things are happening, I figured that this was the right time with the assistance of the YSB program and all the work that they have put into this. I think this was the best time. We have a nice group of people that's working. The YSB program have brought in a lot of professionals from all across the county and the state to assist us on this. It's going to be indoors, it's going to be outdoors. And I just think this timing is everything in life. And I think the timing right now is perfect. I can only hope that with a group of people like the help of the YSB program and other professionals coming together and discussing these health issues. I'm talking about nutrition, psychological, physical, the whole bit, and put a group of people together and they can see after this. What I would like to see done is once this health fair is over, that we get some feedback from the clinicians and from the doctors and from all of the professionals that's come to help us, to get some feedback from them so we can start having statistics to show, you know, we got a high blood pressure problem in the city, we got a heart problem in the city, we have people with this, we have people with these different ailments, and then that will propel us in terms to help them more. And if we do it on an annual basis, I think it would be a great opportunity for the city to give another service. The biggest thing is life or death. And I say that in all fairness because some people get into the mood or situation where I don't want to go up there, I ain't gonna do no good anyway. That's the wrong attitude. So if you talk about good health for free, good help and good diagnosis for free, and we're going to have high blood pressure, we're going to have diabetes, we're going to have prostate, we're going to have nutrition, we're going to have psychological, we're going to have just a conglomerate of things. And if this is our health fair, probably would be better than News 4, except for they have more room because they have theirs at the convention center. But if you put it on the scale, the grand scale of things, we have just as much to offer as they would. And I think that if you have any ailments, if you are not sure, if you're borderline with something, if you just think that your family member, your father, your sister, your brother, your wife, your spouse, or whoever have some ailments and you're not sure of, well, we have people here on June the 30th that can take a look at them, that can evaluate them, can assess them, and it's not going to cost you one penny. So now this is an opportunity for you, the citizens, to come in and get a free service that's drastically needed that possibly can save your life.
One more word about the health fair. If you or your teenager would like to volunteer, call the Youth Services Bureau at 301-336-7600. You can also call us about Expressions Camp. It's not too late to sign up. If you're between the ages of 13 to 18, ask your school counselor or child and family therapist to sponsor you for this free week-long sleepaway camp. We were able to visit this beautiful Patuxent 4-H campsite and interview the camp's director and a couple of staff members. Take a listen. We're here today with Stewart Seal, who is the countywide youth arts coordinator for the Maryland National Park and Planning Commission. Stewart runs the Expressions Camp at Patuxent River 4-H Center. Hi, Stewart.
Hi. Thanks for coming out, Beverly.
Well, thanks for giving us an interview today and letting everybody in the county be more aware of Expressions Camp and what you all do for your campers while they're here.
My pleasure.
One of the first questions I have for you is about the camp itself. How long has the camp been here?
Well, the camp's been here for a long time, but the Expressions program has been coming here. It'll be 12 years this year, starting July 8th. It's our 12th season.
Wow, so you all actually have a long history of working with children and at this campsite.
That's correct. We'll have had probably 400 kids come through here in the history of the program.
Oh, that's awesome. So why is the camp called Expressions Camp?
I saw that somewhere. We actually worked with the Watts Prophets to get the camp started 12 years ago, and they had a program they called Expressions, and then I just took the name of their program and just added Talk Up Not Down to it, because the camp gives kids an opportunity to learn how to express themselves using poetry and then express themselves in a presentational form. So it became Expressions Talk Up Not Down.
Oh, okay.
Something very positive.
Okay, absolutely. And you kind of answered my next question. I was going to ask you about the purpose of the camp and how does it benefit the campers who come?
Well, the campers are recommended to be at the camp through counselors at school or social workers or psychologists. And it's a camp for kids who just need a little bit of boost. I hesitate to call them at risk because all kids are at risk one way or another.
That's true.
But we work with the counselors to identify these kids, and they are recommended by the counselors. The counselor has to write a letter to us recommending the child, and the child has to write a letter to us explaining why they want to be part of the program, and they're accepted into the program. And then they come here and we have a meet and greet the first day, and then the second day they start working with the poets, and we have 5 poets involved in the program. All of them are master poets, all of them have a lot of teaching experience, and they start with a basic I am poem is what it's called, and they learn about poetry, they learn about how to write poetry, how to present poetry, and how powerful a word it can be. And one of the exercises that we go through is called vomiting on the page, and it is getting all your feelings out on the page, positive, negative, neutral, whatever it is, and then going back and learning how to edit that, take that information and put it into a positive statement as a poem. The kids spend about 4.5 hours a day or so working with the poets, and then they also have other activities. They're going nature hikes, they do sports, they do a slip and slide, they work with 2 visual artists who come down here, and even the visual arts, it's about the kids learning to express themselves. And they are told right from day one that it's okay to have feelings, it's okay to have good feelings, bad feelings, but you got to get the feelings out. It's all about positive reinforcement.
That's pretty awesome. From a parent's point of view, what would lead a parent to want to have their child participate in Expressions Camp as opposed to some of the many other camps that Park and Planning sponsors or hosts through the summer?
Well, this camp is by recommendation only. You won't see it advertised in our Guide to Parks and Recreation or anything.
Okay.
It is pretty selective. You have to be recommended for it. Parents who send their kids here know that their kids need a little boost, a little support in an area. This year we have kids coming from a couple of broken homes, and they just need they need a break. Some of them just get a break, and they come here and they learn how to be mentors. They learn leadership skills, and these leadership skills and mentoring skills they actually take back to their communities and to their schools. And I'll do a post-camp survey and a pre-camp survey, and the difference is significant in the different areas we ask questions about. And the parents say, our kids come back, they're different people, they're more positive, they're polite, and they take that skill into their school and their neighborhood, and are able to help other kids with it. That's part of the overall plan, is for them to take those skills they learn here into the community.
And you mentioned that you have 5 master poets who work with the kids throughout that week.
Right.
Who else do you have on the staff, or what other positions are on the staff?
We have a school counselor that's here for the whole time. The first year we did the camp, I didn't have a counselor, and it was really tough dealing with the feelings that were uncovered as part of this learning process. And so I have a counselor now to do with that, and she's here. She's actually a school counselor in the system, and she is here from 8 in the morning till 8 at night for the entire period of the camp. And if problems come up, she is there to take care of them right away, so they don't fester or anything. And she's been incredibly valuable in that process.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about the age range for the children, for the campers, and when does camp start and when does it end?
The camp is for children 13 to 18, and then I take kids as long as you're going to be 13 at the beginning of the school year. We take you. 13 is the age that the staff here and we agree is a age where they're mature enough. We've had a couple 12-year-olds who slipped through in the past, and they're mature. If they come with a friend or sibling, then we generally let them in. Camp starts this year on Sunday, July 8th at 3 p.m. 3 p.m. is check-in, and it goes through Saturday, July 14th. And the last day of camp, we do a concert at the Bowie Center for the Performing Arts at 3 o'clock, where all the kids present the poetry that they have written during the week. And the poems will go from just a small I am poem of like 5 or 6 lines to a couple pages. And they'll also do group pieces during the concert. In the history of the camp, we have never had a child not go up on stage and do their piece, which is really cool. Knock on wood.
And what's the cost for the family members?
County, it is free. It is funded through park and planning operating dollars and grant money that we get. The only real cost, well, it's getting your child here, and that you just drop them off. And then there's a $10 fee for extra snacks, and that's it.
Okay. Now, I know from grant funds that you always have to be able to report outcomes. And so, and I can, you've talked to us about how the family is, the family benefits, how the child benefits. But can you talk a little bit more about how the community benefits from such a camp like this?
Well, the kids going back and understanding that it's okay to have feelings can take that into schools, and they can talk to their friends and talk to their friends about how it's okay to have these feelings, and they can show them how to express these feelings in poetry. And what happens is one kid, for instance, one kid will come to the camp this year and he'll tell his friends and neighbors about it, and then all 3 of them come back next year. And that just kind of multiplies it. And we have kids, we usually have about a 50% return ratio every year until you age out. So we'll have 50% alumni and then 50% new kids. And then that continues to build on itself as the camp goes. As kids age out, they age out, they have their relatives or their brothers and sisters come in their place, and it just continues like that. This year we have one young lady coming back. This will be her 3rd year, but she's had 2 other siblings. One of them was here for 3 years, and her sister was here for 3 years, so it'll be like a total of 9 years that this family's been engaged with the camp.
Okay, and my final question for you is, if there was one message that you wanted to send either to a parent, a prospective camper, or maybe even to some of the community stakeholders, what would you want them to know about Expressions Camp? Talk up, not down.
This is a camp where kids come and they can feel secure in having feelings and be supported by mentors to have those feelings and get those feelings out on paper and be told it's okay to have sad feelings, it's okay to have good feelings, and it's okay to be a mentor, and it's okay to help somebody and not punish somebody for having feelings.
Yeah. Well, Stewart, thank you so much for your time. I look forward to talking to a few of your staff who are helping you put the camp on, but it's really been a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Today I'm with Willie MULL and Rachel HITHON. Willie has been a part of Expressions Camp since 2009 when he was a camper here, and Rachel has been a part of Expressions Camp as a staff member since 2015. Thank you all so much for being with us today.
It's an honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask you, let's start with you, Willie, what has been the most valuable experience you've had with Expressions Camp?
The most valuable experience will probably have to be my encounter with the master poets that they have here. They really taught me how to express myself in a positive avenue and really just release, stuff that people usually hold in. They taught us how to express it through poetry, and That'll probably be the most valuable.
Okay, so you were here in 2009 as a camper, and then after being a camper, you came back as a staff member. Have you continued writing poetry?
Yes, I have actually. I actually just performed this past Saturday.
Is that right?
Yes.
Can you share a little more about? Can you share a little bit more about that?
What do you mean?
Well, about your share a little more about what it's like to perform, and when you were a camper, was that your first time performing and writing poetry?
It wasn't my first time writing. My first time writing was in high school in an English class, but that was my first time performing. It's hard to explain. It's just an energy, especially when you perform. If you're writing poetry, when you perform, it's like everything just releases in that moment. Everybody's attention is on you, and you're finally being heard, and it's just like a release.
Thank you so much for sharing. So it sounds like Expressions Camp opened up a number of doors for you.
Yeah, most definitely.
How else has it changed you?
I think it matured me, because before the camp, I wasn't doing too I wasn't doing too great. Doing terrible in high school. I actually ended up dropping out of high school, and after the camp, it just kind of changed my perspective. It opened me up to a new world, and I kind of got my life back together. Ended up going to community college, and got my GED first, then went to community college, and now I'm a graduate from Towson University. So.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. Rachel, now you weren't a camper here, is that correct?
No, I was never a camper.
So tell us about your experience with Expressions Camp. So you started out as a staff person, and then now you're still with it. So share a little more about your experience.
Well, primarily my job with the camp is to type the students' poems. And I know when I sit down and type them, I often read over them, proofread them, and I can just see the many expressions that a lot of these children have. And I never even thought that, like, these kids that are so young, like 13, 14 years old, that's been through so much, and just seeing how they're able to express themselves through poetry, it's really enlightened me, and they've actually inspired me, as long as Willie, to write poetry myself.
Wow, you know, I'm going to put you on the spot, since Willie shared some of his experience and how being a part of the camp has changed his life. How has being a staff member changed your life?
It's given me an outlet to express myself, because I usually don't express myself to others, and I like to bottle things in. So whenever I'm feeling some type of way, I just simply write it out, and instantly I feel better just to be able to express myself and explain my feelings and just write it out. And it's just a great outlet for people who are going through things, and it's a great way to express yourself, honestly.
Okay. Well, thank you both so much. Final question. If there was one message that you wanted parents to know beyond anything else about Expressions Camp, what would that one message be? Let's start with you, Willie.
Listen. About the camp, or just?
Just in general.
Listen. Your children have a lot to say. They have a lot that goes on with them. In their house, outside, when they leave the home, it's a lot that they don't share. It's a lot they hold in. Really pay attention, really be attentive, and listen to them, because they have a lot to say. They do have a voice, and they want to be heard.
Right, absolutely. Rachel?
I also agree with Willie how parents should listen, and I would just like them to enroll their kids. Like, it's a great opportunity, and they'd make a lot of friends, and I definitely feel that the children would get something out of this camp.
Okay. Well, again, thank you all for your time, and thank you so much for being a part of Expressions Camp.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This year, the Youth Services Bureau will host its own version of Expressions Camp called Creative Minds. Creative Minds Camp is a 3-week day camp that begins August 13th and runs through August 31st. The therapeutic arts experience will end with a musical themed From Hurt to Hope and Trials to Triumph. We only have 10 slots available for ages 6 to 11, so stop by and sign up as soon as possible. Aftercare will also be offered. This camp will be facilitated with licensed and license eligible counselors and counselor interns. Stay tuned for future mental health moments. Know that your mental health is just as important as your physical health. Ignore the stigma and let us serve you and your family. If your child or teen is having trouble at school, at home, or in the community, or your family could use a little help finding harmony or balance along the journey, don't wait any longer. Give us a call at 301-336-7600. And remember, children's mental health matters.